Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friendship Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is April 30th of 2025. I have 9:06 in the a.m. Let's say it together. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. This morning, as I was developing a video, a text came across my feed. I want to share that with you. My aunt is 80 years old, and she just paid off her student loan. I'm going to say this again. My aunt is 80 years old, and she just paid off her student loan. Now, people, I tried to go on with the video that I was trying to produce, and I just couldn't shake it. I could not. 80 years old, I couldn't wrap my mind around that. You see, one wise person said there are 4 quarters to your life. There's that period from like 0 to maybe 23, then 23 to maybe 48, then 48 to maybe 62, and somewhere around mid-60s to the end. That's the 4th quarter, like football. I'm assuming that this person has got to have a double master's or something. And had to owe well over $500,000. And the interest was just compounding over time. I have never, ever heard, and I have no reason to doubt what the person texted me, and it's right there. Tammy, MARRINER 6558. You can see it. People, and I'm not putting on blast. I just want you to read it for yourself. What kind of world have we been living in? I shared with you guys yesterday this video. For those of you all who don't know what I'm talking about, the video I have is called "I Ain't Paying No Student Loan Back, Default for Collections." And I talked about how the government is cracking down on May 5th, or they will garnish your check or fine by any means necessary to get their money. I put in the description what I forgot to say, and that is, isn't it interesting how May 5th could possibly reflect the age of Julius Caesar, because he was 55 years old. May 5th, 55. I don't think that's coincidence. I see it as a way for them to speak on different levels. I want to read some of the things and just talk it through, because I am in shock. When I go into shock, I just have to sometimes just give way to what I was doing. I'll do the other video a little bit later, but speak to this now. This is going to be, as they say, a humdinger. When May 5th comes around, I'm thinking you're going to hear a lot of stories about people who are going to say, I could not get in touch with people from the Department of Education. Like I said yesterday, and I shared that with you, half the staff was cut. That's a big problem. I do remember, and I didn't say it yesterday, of listening to a few people, even before this went down, was that it's hard to get through the waiting time, the lag time, getting with the right people in that department. It's all a question. So I want to go back into it, but I want to read you guys' comments, some of them. And then I want to talk about what I wrote down. I literally had to brainstorm because I usually wing stuff when I just face you guys, but I can't wing it today. I'm going to read from my notes. And I'm going to try to get a clear understanding and hopefully get some solution. So the Democrats went so far to the left that people went right and voted for Trump. It's all a game. The world is a stage and we are all being played. It's all deliberate. I went to college at $3 a semester. I had no money. I received Pell Grants twice a year, which totaled $1,000 a year. I waited tables and worked off jobs. I confess I married end of junior year to escape poverty, have an MS degree and no debt. The reason college costs so much is because of all the loans which increased demand and of course, cost of tuition. Colleges started coming out of the woodwork online, this online, that. It has become a scam for colleges to take loan money and spit these degrees out so these people graduate with debt and minimum wage jobs, all deliberate. Colleges are rich off these loans. People are trapped. Those are major points. I have to agree with this. Again, over 40%, just throw the number out there, over 40% of people are not in the field that they studied for. And I think some of these college degrees, what they're tailored for, they're not realistic. And I do think, like some people say, bring back trades. Bring back trades. You don't have to blame, but if you start with something, you can build on that. It's hard to build when you're in debt, even if you do have a master's degree. Think about it. We got to be smarter. We got to be smarter. Person says, on what planet do people think they can ignore a bill without a bill collector coming after you? There should be no interest on student loans. Now that's an adjustment. There should be an adjustment on interest rate. It should be. We just should. I understand those who paid off their loan. I feel you. This is a different time, people. I'm going to get into that. Because of tariffs and when the goods run out, many people and businesses will be out of luck and homeless. So how are they going to get people to pay back student loans? This country is done. I'm going to get into that. I'm waiting on the clock to tick so I can dive into that. Listen to these points. Listen to these points. Yes, friend shot, the credit card people definitely were helpful and friendly. All too happy to push them on you. Yeah, the credit card people were at the colleges back in the day. Oh boy. I paid off my credit card debt and college loans right away after I graduated college in 1984. I hated debt, felt lighter once I was free from it. I didn't have to be told what to do. I taught my children early on about college debt. We saved a little for them for college and or trade schools. I taught them if they really wanted a college degree, that they would make seeking scholarships their full-time job. And that's something. One ended up in the Marines and has now started his LLC. And our younger son is in school to become an electrician at HVAC professional. Parents need to take the lead. I said bingo. You got to be realistic. You got to be realistic. You might not be able to start a family at 22, 23, 24, 25. You might have to sacrifice 3 or 4 years after college and get that thing down at least 50% where it's manageable. Because 80 years old, I don't know. Do you have a life? I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't want to judge. Do you have a life? That person who paid back debt all the way to 80. Let's say, for let's sake of argument, they had a lot of money and a good family with a lot of money. Then they just paid it off and they still had a good quality of life. But I don't think that's true for most people. If you're paying up till 45, 50, 60 years old, it's like a car note for 40 years, man. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I'm still paying on these loans right now, and I'm treating them just like a monthly car payment. Yeah. I already knew that the government would do this one day. Yeah, come after people. The people with these student loans are clearly getting taken advantage of. Not only that, their credit is being destroyed. That's a big one. When your credit is being destroyed. The intent of college is to become a productive citizen and get in maybe 1 or 2 specialized fields and get yourself a quality education so that you can get out here and contribute to our America to keep it strong and growing. You can have the personal benefits from having a decent job, not to be a slave to getting and acquiring the education. I received my first credit card as a sophomore in college. I avoided them and turned them down my entire freshman year. But by my sophomore year, credit card companies began calling me in the dorm room on a consistent basis until I eventually gave in and applied for one. That card had a $500 credit limit. Today, in my late 40s, I'm trying to pay off thousands of dollars of credit card debt I've acquired over the past 25 plus years. I'm also paying on my final set of student loans. No more schooling for me unless it's free. People, that's a nightmare. And I appreciate all you guys. I might read some more. This is crazy. I'll read this last one for now. Hi, Pearson. Trump should make a student loan repayment plan with no interest or very low interest, like 1 or 2%. This will get people out of debt and pay back our government to help our deficit and make a little on interest in time. This plan was crazy from the beginning. Where was our leadership for our country? Sounds like they were on the take to bring down America with the younger generation. Bingo. Y'all smart. Y'all figured it out. We're imploding, people. Let's keep it real. We are imploding. And I'm going to tell you why. I already told you guys over a few months ago, a lot of these government jobs were created out of thin air because money was borrowed. Which means the jobs that were created, let's say hundreds of thousands of jobs were created the last 15, 20 years. And now Doge come in and cut them. And the thing is, we have waste, fraud, and abuse. Well, no, we created jobs that should have never been created on money that was borrowed, that should have been borrowed. So that's a false government set up in part. The private sector did the same thing. They borrowed money and they grew. I told you guys I worked for KFC for 19 years. I can't tell you how many restaurants, co-ops, and corporation, whether it's Burger King, KFC, Popeyes, McDonald's, too many restaurants, too many automotive places, too many convenience stores. Because everybody thought, you know what, America's growing. But they weren't really talking about the national debt, in which now we're at 36.5%. So a big part of our economy was false. Do you understand? You had the 2008 home mortgage crisis. A lot of people lost their homes or their second home, or they had to regroup after the adjustable rate mortgage. You see what I'm trying to say? We're trapped and entrapped. We're imploding people. And did I mention you had people out here like Bernie Madoff, another guy named Sam Bankman-Fried, that took care of the upper middle class. I believe they were allowed to exist, my humble opinion, they were allowed to exist allegedly to implode them. So we could always be defenseless monetarily. So when you put it all together, and I'm not even done with my list, when you put it all together, and I get it for those who paid their student loan back, but it's a different time, different situation, okay? Let me hold that thought. You got inflation like we never seen before. Trump just had his rally, not a rally, but he talked about his 100-day celebration yesterday when he was in, Michigan. I'm tired of hearing him say, eggs are down, inflation is coming down, the cost of living is coming down. And he's naming a grocery list of things that are coming down. That's not true. He's a salesman. At some point, the salesman is not telling the truth. I keep hearing him say this, and I'm like, I think the next time I go to the grocery store, I'm going to film the price of eggs so you can see it. Just do a 5-minute video, and I pray you support it, and show the price of eggs. It's ridiculous. Trump is not telling you the truth. The Federal Reserve will be adjusting at some point. Do you know why? In less than a week, people are going to have to start paying these loans back. In less than a week, people are going to start having garnishment on wages because they could not get through to talk to someone to make an adjustment on the payment. And then some people they're not going to do it no way. They're going to send the country in free fall. And it's deliberate. The social planners not stupid. You know, the funny thing about the social planners, and I do believe this was all planned for our demise, is that they can always spearhead a situation that works for failure for us. But when it comes down to spearheading solutions for us, I got to go through Congress, the Senate, the president, back and forth. We got to pick it. We shall overcome. All that. You understand what I'm saying? People, you got inflation. It ain't got no better. That's the basic cost of living. You got supply shortages, which already begin to happen. Not just because of the tariffs. The tariffs are a big part of it. That's a problem. That's called scarcity. Unforeseen circumstances you might have. Divorce, death, laid off. Come on. We all go through those things. And you might not have had any backup money in case. Like I said yesterday, only 25% or maybe 30% of 100 people are well versed on finance. It's not pushed, and I'll put it to you like this, not to pick on the rappers, but just put it out there. The rappers are pouring out a little liquor, spreading their money around to the girls who's shaking their behind. But they're not employing strategies out here, and people are not employing strategies where they get you to think about monetary, fiscal policy, and being fiscally responsible. How to save, dividends, teaching you how money works, those kind of things. We got you focused on bling, but we're not focusing on being fiscally responsible. Having all these kids, multiple multiple kids by multiple fathers. And I'm not just blaming the women, I'm blaming the men too. And now you're growing up kids who are illiterate in terms of understanding money. Do you understand? This didn't happen overnight. It's hard to battle back when you have a generation of, I don't know how many, but what the percentage is, of women who have no man, and she got 3 to 6 kids, and they're illiterate economically. They're going to repeat the same cycle, if not worse. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're pushing free love, irresponsibility when it comes down to sex, one night stands, but they're not telling you that in the future you're going to pay for it, because if you're not smart and you got a villain out here, the villain wins. Hope I'm connecting with y'all. Folks already working overtime, second job, weekends. You got healthcare costs, which healthcare costs that Obamacare was a joke. We got job cuts, people. Job cuts coming on. And a lot of businesses have been going, a lot of retailers are going out of business. You know, the last 2 years is off the chain. What am I saying? We're imploding. And now you're going to add to it by having to pay back student loans. You got people on average are paying back between $300 to $1,500 a month. They can't do it. They need to make an adjustment. And they're going to be paying till they 50 and 60 years old. So we got to meet them somewhere halfway, lower the interest rate, do something. AI replacement. And all the foreigners, when you pick up the phone to dial to get some information, the odds are you're not hearing an American. You're hearing someone in another country, because they've scaled back on employing us, or they got an AI doing it. They've outsourced the jobs. We're going to have to be more compassionate. I understand that you paid your student loan back, but this is a different time. And I just gave you a small list of why you need to be compassionate. Because if we don't get this thing under control, I would say within the next 18 months or even sooner, we're all going to pay for it. Businesses that saw X amount of people coming through shopping, they're not going to have the traffic flow because of inflation, job cuts, outsourcing, AI, tariffs, and now you're paying back student loan. You don't have discretionary income to go out there and shop and do things. So what do you think your business is going to have? At least 25% of your traffic flow of customers coming in is going to dwindle. That's going to affect the economy. So now either you gotta go up on your prices, stay open late, or get something. This is not how you make America great. I want you to see it coming. I want you to see it beyond, well, I paid mine back. You got to be responsible. I would say majority of people, they want to be responsible. But the interest rate, and unfortunately with their bad decisions, that is the people who took out the loans, they made adult decisions, but they were bad decisions. The social planners knew we would be in the fix. And I think the last thing we can do is beat up on each other. So please be more compassionate. Figure out a solution and help them with it. Just tell them, girl, if you do this or you do this, get a payment plan, a payment program that don't break the bank. And by the same token, we got to slowly turn it around. You can't keep having all these kids. You can't keep being irresponsible. Your credit is going to be messed up due to this. In life, you reap what you sow. God gave us the kingdom. It was up to us to maintain it. Not like this. I hope I've helped. I've hoped people understand Thank you guys for being responsible for paying it back, but be compassionate. There's some people who have to learn the hard way. You were fooled too, and you were irresponsible at some point too. It's just not showing up like this. But if we don't be compassionate, if we don't help fight for them, we might not have a country to live in the future. And if we do, it's not going to look like the way the promise of the founding fathers intended. I'm Franchot Pearson. God bless.